We are rolling.
Scrolly poly.
We scrolly.
Let me get out of this beat ski. Hydra. It's a cool name. Alright. So did you hear a lot about this crash? I did find an article about it.
No, I didn't hear anything about the crash. I heard nothing about the crash.
Let's see, let's bring it up.
So real quick, what are we talking about? What crash?
There's a plane that went down, and I don't know if it was in India. I believe it was from India to. Let me pull it up. I heard it was London.
What day today is? What is today?
Today's Friday. I'm not sure what the exact. Oh, the 13th. Whoa, Friday the 13th.
There it is.
Whoa, it happened yesterday though, but still.
Friday the 13th, 25. For those of you, myself included, that didn't know that.
All right, so let's see just a little breakdown. An Air India flight ended in catastrophe Thursday as Flight 171 crashed into a building in a residential area shortly after taking off in Ahmedabad, India. Sorry if that pronunciation is probably way off. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner had been bound for London. Okay, yes, London. The aircraft had 242 people on board. Only one person, a passenger, survived. That's crazy.
Holy fuck.
One survivor.
One person survived. Shout out the fucking sole survivor.
Shout out is also hilarious.
I'm just saying.
Still, dude, yeah, that's crazy. For real, shout out though. Yeah, that is crazy. One person.
Sending some fucking.
Dude, one person out of 242 people is nuts.
Also, shout out the families of everybody affected.
Yeah,
holy shit. Yeah. All jokes aside, that's crazy.
No, that is
Back
crazy.
to the jokes, though. The sole survivor. Could you imagine? Oh, my God. I mean, you kind of hope that person was, like, by themselves. You know what I mean? Like, the one person that was on the flight, like...
Yeah, like, they didn't have family.
Didn't have anybody with them.
Yeah. I don't want to say, like a Kobe situation, but yeah.
You don't want it to be, like... You know, the dad of like he was on a family vacation going to see London town.
See the old London. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's insanity. No, I did not hear about that. I heard about it in the way that there was
he's in the hospital, just like posted up, just listen to that.
Because of my rider. Yeah, yes, a soul survivor.
That's crazy.
Yep. Everybody know the game.
Yeah, I was just looking up like the top news stories, and this in the Google suggestions, it says people also ask, who is Gavin Newsom? Like the governor of California or whatever. And another one's about Newsom. Bro, what's going on with Newsom, dog?
I don't know.
Okay, something with him and Trump. That's a question too.
Stay out the polys.
Yeah. What happened with
We can talk about polyamory.
Bro, speaking of which, yeah, quick poly thing. Trump's like, I guess it's kind of tied into the military like anniversary or whatever, but it's also kind of like his birthday. They're spending like $40 million on this like kind of celebration deal.
That's lit. That sounds very politic related.
Yeah, saying it's all our dollar bills.
A good place to go with a podcast we're just starting out on.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on religion? Who do you believe in?
I plead the fifth.
I believe in the fifth.
I believe in the fifth. I believe in the Constitution.
What are your thoughts on transgenders?
I mean, I'll go there.
I'm also joking. We can talk about something a little.
I work.
A little lighter.
I gotta. I mean, dude. Like, there's. I don't know. I feel like all people. There's probably like there's good fucking.
I'll ask you this: How far?
I think
like
back, all people.
How
I
far
just think
back
like
do you
you
think
can't group anybody. Like they're transgender, but like in the way.
Maybe not at a surgical level.
You know what I mean?
But
like,
listen. How far back do you think that
it's just a person?
That type of identity has been around. Again, not surgically.
Yeah, I would imagine that shit's been surgically too, bro. I mean, you had eunuchs back in the day.
I mean, true.
You had like the castratos. I'm not saying like that's an example. I'm just saying like people
unintentionally.
People have been having surgeries.
That was probably probably a punishment in some eras and cultures.
I mean, you can look it up. Look up the first.
You just get your shit chopped
look
off.
up when the first transgender surgery, in history was recorded, like for that purpose. Like not for what was the first transgender?
Like sexual change.
What was the first? What was the first?
Because that's a new term. transgender.
Yeah, what was
I
the
think.
first? What was
Like
the
sexual
first?
change
What was the first surgery?
of the earlobes?
When somebody get their ear pierced for the first time. No, it's fine.
No, okay. Let's
No,
see.
I would just try. Dude, try it. When was the
Sex
first?
change.
When was the first sex change surgery in history? And it was. I mean, I would imagine it was a guy that did it. She.
Yeah, this maybe do first
No.
known.
Maybe formerly a man.
Okay. Christine
In history.
Jorgensen.
This is history. When is that? See, look at that. Oh, that's not what I was thinking. That's kind of new. That can't be right.
Yeah, that says 19.
This has to be right here.
That's when she
16
was
remarkable historical figures who were transgender. There you go.
Oh yeah.
There's got to be somebody in
Well,
there
this one
that's
was
from
getting-
like
getting a
I
lot
see
of-
a sir.
Okay, yeah, we'll check this
Yeah,
list.
like there's a.
But this Christine woman is getting a lot of like headlines. Like she was apparently in 1952.
Okay,
Her hormone therapy was
I
announced.
could not imagine, dude.
First American to become widely known.
See, that's
for
what I'm
having a
saying. I'm
sexually
talking about
assigned-
culturally. Like this had to be something somebody
Yeah, let's
did
see.
somewhere in
Bro,
the history.
is that Lady
See,
Gaga,
these are
bro?
pictures, bro.
Who's
These are
that,
pictures,
bro?
bro.
That's just like the.
This is not a good like. Come on, what's
No,
it
I
say?
think
There
that
we
is-
go. There we
yeah,
go.
yeah,
There we
it's-
go.
it's coming up to
What?
Elagabalus.
Elagabalus, the
Elagabalus.
unsuccessful Roman emperor who wanted to become an empress. Yeah, give me some of that. What's that?
Shit.
There we go. High priestess. That's a painting. It's talking about the painting that we're seeing. We'll throw it up in the.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
We'll throw the painting up that just came up. But here we go. In 217 AD. See, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This shit is not new. This shit is not
Yeah.
new.
We don't have to go much further. I think that kind of answers the question.
Oh wait, hold on. That was when he murdered
217.
somebody.
Oh, well, still, that's just like the
No,
time
wait,
he was
the-
alive.
The Praetorian Guard murdered Emperor.
Yeah, the Praetorian, I think. Praetorian.
Yeah, there you go. Praetorian. You have 100%. The Praetorian Guard murdered Emperor Caracalla.
Caracalla. That's a cool name.
Caracalla.
Coachella.
Coachella. Emperor
Yeah.
Coachella. The following year, after months of schemes, a distant cousin. What the fuck? A distant cousin of the deceased emperor ascended to the purple? What?
So, I mean, apparently he just he fucking murdered somebody. He said he's very confused with his sexual identity.
Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah.
According to Cassius Dio, he became notorious for dressing as a woman, wore
Okay,
wigs,
so he was
makeup,
a cross-dresser. He's
Yeah.
not...
a sexual nuisance of himself around
Oh,
Rome.
okay. Of himself around Rome.
Okay, he married 4 women and a male athlete.
Okay, here we go.
So they was just like fucking
So he was
doing
at
whatever
least
back then,
bisexual.
bro.
But this is my point. Like, where's the... Okay, so he was just cross-dressing.
But
And
he had-
they
but he had
considered,
a-
they
look,
considered that...
He had a sex slave named Heracles or Heracles or some shit.
Heracles.
Heracles. I don't know. Some of these names are
Maybe
Definitely
Hercules. It might, not
No,
Hercules,
no,
but
it's like-
Heracles.
it's like
I'm saying
here.
Heracles. It might be Heracles.
Heracles. Yeah, Heracles. Yeah, who knows? But
Elagabalus apparently
yeah, all the names are crazy.
delighted to be called the mistress, the wife, the queen of Heracles, which was the slave,
Yeah,
and
jeez.
reputedly offered to reward any doctor who could give him female genitalia. Okay.
yeah.
Some historians have suggested that contemporaries told these tales to... Oh, well. So
damn
we don't
them.
have any fucking cooperation. And what is this? This is on
Alright.
historycollection.com?
Yeah, let's fact check a lot.
Okay, I mean, who knows? The point that I'm trying to make is it's been around, okay? Like, a lot of these are old. Like, some of these have drawings.
I
of
just
people.
said the Civil War. Yeah, not even pictures. That's how.
But this is my point, is like all fucking walks of life. It's another breathing, life form. Just like fucking I'm a
Okay.
life form, and you're a life form. So that's always been my thoughts, to be honest with you. Just because I have family
Oh, for
that
sure, yeah.
go that way, and honestly, like I don't know, growing up with that, I probably had I don't know, my dad had a way different view on it than I ever did, but
It was a different time back then too.
yeah, but I don't know. See, my mom didn't have that view, but she grew
Like, it
up
was
with
still
it
going
around
on,
her.
but
Like
I
it just
feel like the
depends on where you
stigma-
grew up. It depends on
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
grew up for that
For
generation,
sure,
because
for sure.
the times were definitely more prevalent. Whereas
Yeah.
now,
And I feel like just the stigma
times,
itself
like,
was different.
it's way different now.
Because it was
but-
still going on, but people just thought of it.
Well, dude, it was like a
more
thing-
under the rug.
It was
for
a
sure.
thing. Yeah, it was the thing that was like, people did in secrecy, like you said, under the rug. But also the people that did, that were openly themselves, living their truth. I feel like those people got ridiculed hardcore, like back in those days. Like they got called crazy ass names.
Dora Richter.
They were physically assaulted, a lot of them, by fucking people just for being that way, and
this was in like
truth, which is crazy. So
this was in like the wartime, like first male to female sex change. It was killed by the Nazis. So yeah, I mean, it's been done happening.
But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to that kind of stuff, I don't know. I'm just like, I kind of respect people to be people. Like that's just me. Like, I don't know.
But I just heard something, speaking of Nazis, about the Argentinian government trying to release some files about Hitler like escaping there and living there for like 2 decades after the war. I don't know if it was legit
In Argentina.
Yeah,
I heard about it somewhere. They have like you can look it up, but I want to say it's
that Tina boy.
It wasn't in Argentina, was it? I thought it was like.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was like Ecuador or something crazy like that.
Let me see what's up.
It might be Argentina, but yeah, they
know,
like there's a whole
that's
German town. It's like the whole place is German. The whole place is German. Everybody speaks Dutch.
Well, you never know. That's a little conspiracy I could kind of buy into a little bit. He probably, because that dude planned for shit all the time. Unless he was kind of sick.
To be honest with you, man, that's something I kind of recently just heard.
I heard he had like a lot of medical issues too, so he could have just fucking offed himself.
I'm saying I recently heard this. I mean, I'm saying I've been ignorant to that conspiracy theory for majority of my life in terms of like I'm young, so.
Okay, AI is gonna say some shit. But let's see what it says, but let's go off something else.
Would you ask it?
I just googled Hitler in Argentina.
Is it Argentina?
That's what I heard. I don't know. Let's see.
But yeah,
it says his presence in Argentina after World War II is a topic of speculation and conspiracy theories. Yeah, I've heard this a couple times. So let's try to find like.
But yeah, that's what I was saying. Is I'm recent, like within the last 3 years
the dates on these
I've heard. See, I played video games where they went through the idea of Hitler being alive, but I was kind of always under the impression that he offed himself, or at the very least they say he offed himself, and but either way, I'm not saying I don't know, I never had a reason to question it, but I mean, with growing up and everything and being an American, you question everything. So
I've heard about like the files.
I question it now,
trying to get declassified recently, but I've heard this conspiracy
because with the whole thing, Operation Paperclip, it's like you would imagine that like you would have had the head of that. Come on, you wouldn't have had the head of that involved.
I know.
Like, because think about it. Like at the very least, Hitler had. I mean, at the very least, he would have been a good person to make deals with.
I mean, maybe at that point they didn't even need him. Maybe they just ran.
Well, this is my point in terms of like I'm not saying Hitler directly had.
These are all like old videos.
I don't know, man. When you listen to like all the stuff that you hear about him, it's like you don't really know. Aside from the stuff that is 100% confirmed, it's like it's just so hard to say.
Huffington Post.
But if he did live, how old would Hitler be today? How old would Hitler be today if he didn't die of any kind of fucking ailments? Like how old, you could literally Google that. How old would Hitler be today if he was alive?
Like 120 something.
Because
old.
You got to remember, like, not again. Putting on your conspiracy hat. How old would this man be?
I'm surprised I just have a straight up answer. Let's see. When was he born? April 20th, 1889. So how many years is that? 1889, that's crazy. Oh, okay. So let's see. Yeah, that's nuts. Okay, so he would be 136, I think.
Okay, so he'd be up there. Point is like Hitler was into weird shit, man.
He was into everything, bro. They were trying to weaponize malaria. They were trying to like trap mosquitoes and try to figure out a way to,
He was into fucking the occult.
Bro, think of that.
He was into the occult and shit.
Into a crazy amount of stuff. They had like kind of like hovercraft stuff back then. Like he was like literally trying to source like everything.
He was studying everything. He was him personally, maybe not was studying everything. He was getting the overlooks of everything, but he was putting the guys in position. He was putting the guys in position for that, which was crazy.
He was running essentially like
because he was one of those people that was like worried about that kind of
No,
shit.
it was
Like he
like an
was like, I
empire.
want to be ahead of everything. I want to take over everything, global domination. And to do that, I have to fucking tap in to like some otherworldly
But
shit.
dude,
And he was
malaria.
trying
I'll
that.
look this up too. Malaria, I think, has killed the most people out of like anything almost ever. I could be way wrong on that, but like he was trying to find a way. He was trying to find out how to weaponize that. He was just on some crazy shit all the time. He was also taking like crazy amounts of
I
drugs.
know malaria kills. I know mosquitoes kill like more than anybody, more than anything.
What has killed the most people in history? Okay, so the Black Death killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people.
So almost all of America.
So that's insane. The Spanish flu killed approximately 50 million people. HIV and AIDS has claimed around 36 million lives. That's a lot. That's crazy. Okay, and then World War II. Okay, 2 wars. The famine, the Chinese famine, the Irish potato famine. Okay, maybe I'm way wrong. I thought. Let's see. Let's Google how much.
Look up how many recorded malaria deaths are there in human history.
Yeah. How you spell malaria? Fucking. It's like that. Yeah.
There you go.
60 billion people.
It's killed the world fucking 60 times over. Sorry, no.
No, probably like
25
20.
times over, yeah.
20 something. But still, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
So yeah, bro.
So it's more than it's killed. So malaria has killed more than all of the major deaths in history.
Like combined, I think.
Like all of the big deaths.
So he was trying to like do some weird shit with mosquitoes, trying to weaponize. I'm sure we could do it today even, but dude, he was on everything. He was trying to utilize.
Well, they have
anything and everything he could.
They have definitely done shit with bugs.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we made the love bug. Remember that one in Florida? That was one that fucking.
What was that?
I'll look it up. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but that was like not that long ago.
That's what it's called.
It's
the
a
love
pandemic
bug?
now in Florida. Like, yeah, look up love bug Florida history.
The love bug.
Love bug Florida history.
Love bug flow rider.
History.
They're harmless, usually found in pairs, and so annoying. Okay.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't a genetically modified one. There was one that they made. There's one they made.
It says they migrated to the U.S. from Central America in the 1920s and to Florida in the 1940s.
Dude, they like cover fucking cars. There's crazy pictures of
images.
it. It's crazy, bro. I remember seeing them shits.
Oh, damn.
Dude, yeah, bro. There's a season of them now in Florida. If you live down there, that's because they call them love bugs because all they do is get it on.
They just multiply.
They they just fucking storm up in fucking mass and just go hard. Big orgies.
Fuck all that, bro.
Dude, yeah, it's savage. They're like harmless, but like
that's what they said. Oh my god, look at
they
this
cover. Shit. Yeah, they cover shit, bro.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
So,
but dude, look it up. There's fucking bugs that they've made. They made bugs. I know that they made a bug and put it out somewhere to kill something, and it didn't do it. It just fucking genetically not modified, but it'd be more like fucking created. It's just like, because modified would be like well, I guess it's still playing with God type shit, but no, because genetically modified, I mean, that could be like they genetically mutated over time, right? Like,
yeah, I guess it would have to be like more of a synthetic.
Yeah, I would look up
adaptation or manipulation or something.
Human created bugs. I would just look up shit like that because I'm telling you, like we have made or lab created bugs.
But everything we look up on this pod is just like gonna be my computer. They're gonna be like, bro, what the fuck?
Oh, you're on images still. Yeah. But I'm telling you, they have Okay, here we
They
go.
might pick up the noise, but I'm sure we'll
Oh,
be
I
fine
get
with
that.
it. I'm sure. I mean,
I was
whatever.
gonna say I can turn it off real quick.
This is still kind of like a test, test
Yeah, I mean-
almost pod. Anyways, that's not a big deal.
It is what it is.
Almost like a mic test, but if it's cool, we can do
I
something.
mean, bro, like you can mute my mic for that portion. I didn't say anything.
I don't know. I think it runs as
Oh, it's
one
one
audio. I think so.
Oh, shit, you can just technical difficulty.
You just beep it. All right, so let's see. It's talking about early settlements, bed bugs, humanity's first true urban test. I don't know if this is gonna. Okay, scientists, no, trace bed bugs.
No, look up. Human.
Like synthetic, maybe?
No, not synthetic, because that would be fake. Human created.
That's why I just typed in created bugs.
To combat other bug, or to combat something. There you go, climate change. So anything. Like there's gotta be something. Nope, not that.
Polar bears.
Dude, this is gonna drive me nuts. Maybe I'm tripping, but I mean, we got CRISPR for sure, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be surprised about really anything these days.
We made clear frogs, the see-through fish and frogs and all that shit.
Bro, have you seen the AI like Bigfoot videos?
Oh yeah, where these
they're funny, bro. I kind of like them.
Where he's doing his like selfie.
Yeah, dude, it's like a vlog.
Interviews.
Yeah, it's like a vlog. I don't know. Some things with AI are cool, but it's still like it's a wild time.
Well, I saw recently that they can generate voices for the characters now, like on their own, rather than like where you would have to generate
like
a voice
prompt, input some voices for them to like collectively.
Yeah, now they'll just come up. You just type in what you want them to say and what you want the voice to sound like.
They're probably just in like the motherboard somewhere.
Yeah, it's getting deep. It's getting deep.
Bro, sometimes there's like
Ludacris recently posted a video that somebody.
You said Ludacris? Yeah. I thought you said little somebody. Yeah.
No, Ludacris. He recently posted a video.
About some AI shit?
It was like he did a freestyle for either, it was his BET freestyle or it was a double XL freestyle, but.
The XL?
He did some, I don't know. He did a freestyle recently. I think it might have been a BET freestyle. Maybe it was I don't know. Yeah, something like that. But either way, he did just a freestyle for it, and obviously it was probably like a written freestyle, but it was fire. And he somebody like a fan created with a bunch of different AI prompts,
like a beat for it,
like a whole like it was from the recording. They took the recording and made like scenes out of like the things he was saying in his recording and made a music video out of it, and he reposted it.
Did they just like use that as a prompt, like him spitting like the words as the prompt for it?
No.
Oh, they had to like manually do it?
Yeah, like they probably said like they probably said generate an image of Ludacris, then generate an image like of Ludacris holding a microphone wearing this, and then they would take that picture and probably copy and paste that picture and say make this character do this, change the frame to this, do that, do this, do that, and then add other things to it. It's probably a long process to do it, but
real quick, now that
still shorter than shooting a whole music video and cheaper.
Now that you mention that, I kind of want to test to see if it like these will pick up this beat in any way. If we were to like do like a little rap freestyle or some shit. Not that we're gonna do a freestyle, but just for this part of the pod, I'm gonna test the audio, see if it like picks up at all.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Will it show up on your screen?
No, I mean, let's see. Yeah.
Here we go.
No, man, on my phone. I'm running on my phone, like. Some way, like. I feel like I'm. See if he'll pick up the beat and the vocals on top too. See if it'd be any like good. See if it'd be any good. See if be any good. See if it's any good. We be smoking on this weed and it's plenty good.
Swede.
It's the Sneed, Dr. Seuss. Man, what you need? We be in this fucking booth spitting. Freeze. Dr. Freeze. Blowing trees on. Alright, I'll just see how that sounds later. Alright, we can continue whatever the conversation was.
I don't know what we were saying.
We're talking about transgenders.
I don't think we're still that
was the first thing. Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about. Let's see what's in my history. Oh wait, let me get
we were talking about the AI video for Ludacris and all that shit. And AI prop dig and AI where it's at.
AI to Chris.
AI to Chris. AI to countdown.
Artificial and Ludacris. Into the Chris.
To the crib. I'll take you to the crib.
Welcome into my crib. It's
like
MTV.
I'm to the crib.
Bro, I saw a clip, like, you know, like most of those were just all faked, like the MTV Cribs episodes.
Oh, I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
And like the rooms weren't even that sick, bro. As a kid, you're like, whoa, bro, this shit crazy. Dude, it's like there's a video of like these rappers in like a suburban home, and they're just it's like a fucking, I don't even want to sound like whatever. It's just, it looks like a totally white setup, and it's just like there's just like a fish tank, and then they're just like, check out the fish tank. They're like, and it's just like you could tell, like looking back, it's like, bro, they just rented this house to like be like, welcome to my crib.
I remember loving that shit.
Some of them were probably, some of them were real, I think, but
I think
a couple of them were totally staged, I think.
Yeah, I think like the kid show was cooler. Like
MTV Cribs, MTV Kids, Cribs.
It was like always like some fucking kids shit. Like,
I've never seen
some
that
house that like any of the episodes that like the parents would be like, yeah, we always wanted to do this for our kids, and then you just like the kids take over the whole thing, bro. Any of them fucking
that's kind of dope.
Their places would be stupid. They would have like,
it would be like celebrities though, like celebrities kids.
Nah, like, or
just like random.
Yeah, like
what? I've never seen that.
Crazy houses, bro. Crazy houses.
Okay. Yeah, that's wild. Did you ever? What's his name? Chris Pontius from Jackass. Did you ever see his episode?
Probably. I mean, I love Pontius.
Bro, he was hilarious. He was living out his car, and he did an episode. It was just his car.
I'd probably.
Shit was classic.
I've probably seen that one. The one that sticks out to me the most is always Redman's. That's the one, the classic one to me. Just his fucking, him and his like regular ass, like he had like a, I can't remember if it was just a regular ass like little, like it was in a hood type spot. Fucking, he didn't like clean up. He had like clothes everywhere.
It was like the trap.
Yeah, he had like clothes everywhere. He had like, his TV was on the floor. His bed was on the floor. Like, and he was like on. He was like on. He just didn't spend his money that way. He had like,
that's awesome, a
bunch of random ass singles and like that. He was like, yeah, this is probably all the money I have in this motherfucker. Like, it was funny, bro.
That's
that's
probably just
that crib. That video was funny as shit because they apparently they gave him a bunch of shit about it. Like, they weren't trying to do MTV. They weren't. They're
like, we don't want to come here.
They were like, we don't. They weren't expecting it to be like that.
Like dangerous? What did they think?
I mean, I can't speak for them, but I'm saying this is also before. This was back in like the MapQuest days. You know what I'm saying? And like,
they're like, bro, we're like going to the hood. I mean, that's dope. They still did it though.
You remember MapQuest? You remember that shit? Like fucking using maps and shit.
It's like the little. I mean, yeah, MapQuest,
like local maps.
And then they had like the tiny electric like GPS system thing before like iPhone, like Apple Maps and shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. This I don't think they would have had GPSs at this point quite yet. This would have been like, GPS. I think came out in like 2000 and what, 4 or 5, something like that.
Let's look that up.
I couldn't imagine. And even then, it was like, I remember like it was like places didn't have GPS satellite service and shit. What do we got for like commercial?
Okay, yeah.
Because obviously GPS, you know, they had that military grade.
Automobile.
I wouldn't even say for automobile. I would just say like commercial uses, because people use it for fishing. And I remember back in the day, like that's what like people.
The first GPS device for automobiles was the Magellan Nav
There you go,
1000,
Magellan.
released
Yeah, there you
in
go.
1989.
Okay, so shit, they've been around.
Okay, yeah, that's like way earlier than I thought, actually.
Well, then the studios definitely probably had them. They probably, yeah, but you just can't see what, it wasn't like you could just hop on Google and be like, what's the bitch look like?
Okay. It says in 1990, Mazda introduced the first ever GPS system for
And the
automotive navigational use.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between that one and...
So the Magellan one is a singular. It's like the Garmin. I have one upstairs. It's like literally a GPS. It's literally just a square.
It's like you plug in one destination or something.
So what it is like a little square. Like it has a screen on it, and then the screen essentially has, like, at the back of it's got a plug. You plug that into your lighter space in the car, and that's what powers it. And then it comes on. It's like boop boop, and then it'll tell you where. It'll say, like, you could select, like, favorite locations, and it might, back in the day, would give you, like, I think at the most maybe like 10. And
you have to plug them in, though,
and then you have to put in the address. And what'll happen is if you have the map downloaded for it, back in the earliest days, you'd have to download the maps to them
of, like, your, like, local.
Well, it'd just be like, say like you're going to California, you would download the California map.
Oh, okay, so it's by state.
Yeah,
or probably by region.
I want to say it was by state. I want to say it was by state.
Okay, well, that's what's up, though.
But then it got, like, further along, and then you didn't need to download the maps for it, and then it just had the shit in it because it would connect to, like.
That's the updated navigational use, I guess.
Well, they started putting it in the actual, like, head units of cars, whereas before it would be like an accessory you would buy and mount in your car the way you would mount, a fucking mirror or a little fan or your radio transmitter things.
Yeah, so they said before the top of the line.
So Mazda was the first one to put it in the head unit, though.
Yeah, it says the top of the line technology was in Uno's Cosmo cars and only available in gadget-loving Japan until Mazda built them into their actual car. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Bro, imagine like the Oregon Trail days, or just like back in those days.
Oh, like pioneer days and shit, like when there was like wagon days.
There's like no maps or shit. You're just kind of going.
Yeah, you would literally.
Just, like, you don't know what
people would say, like, you'll follow this long until you come to this clearing, and it would look like this.
Dude, yeah,
and shit like that.
Like, everything looks like that.
Yeah, like you're gonna go.
You're gonna see a mountain, and then there's gonna be some trees, and then there's gonna be a river at some point.
You'll see a mountain with white caps off to the right in your distance. You wouldn't even say the right; it would have just been like off yonder in the distance.
Yonder in the distance.
Yeah,
it's like tens of miles away, and you're like, bro, I don't know where the fuck I'm at.
Yeah, and then that was the other thing. Like, what was it before? It was I remember it was like they would say like 3 days ride, half days ride. Shit like that.
Like how fast are you moving?
And it's like what? Yeah, what are you?
Probably like by horse speed or some shit.
Yeah, but this is my point. Is like,
I don't know.
But like, it's not like every horse goes the same fucking speed, and every person on the horse weighs the same amount, and every horse is like upkept the same.
Some people are fucking like probably.
Well, you gotta remember,
like,
this is like people like knew like when did they start doing horseshoes? Like when did they figure that out?
Let's see.
To like get more miles out of their horses. Think about that, because like motherfuckers would just run horses down. R.I.P. to all the horses that before horseshoes, and even with horseshoes. God damn, that's gotta suck.
Is that one word? Horseshoes, whatever. Horseshoes invented.
Horseshoe. I'm not sure. 400 BC
before Christ,
bro.
So they've been around,
bro. Okay.
Look at the picture.
But it wasn't until. Okay, that's when it was. Okay, when wow. Okay. Well,
this wasn't okay. Whoa,
this is just I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that.
Bro, they had that figured out before Jesus came along.
Bro.
They were like,
that is wild.
Okay, so
that is wild.
How many people you think were trying to get from the East Coast to settle on the West Coast, and they ended up in like Mexico or fucking Canada or some shit? They just got lost along the way.
Numbers, but
I'm sure it's a decent amount.
Let's guess.
Because you think most people probably come from like.
First off, how many people you think pioneered across? Because like, I mean, like, you got to remember back in the day, like, what are we talking? Because like populations were just not what they are.
I was gonna
today.
say I guess it depends on what
Like-
time, because you think a lot of like European settlers come into like New York area, like they're coming after like the Coney Island or whatever they ported.
Are you talking about Ellis Island and shit like
Ellis
that?
Island, yeah, exactly, Ellis Island, Coney Island, but wherever they ported, and they probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what route they would take from.
Well, this would have been before
and
that.
how many settlements do you think are like down in like the Florida area,
Well,
like the Carolinas? Like how many large populations?
Well, that's
do you
the thing.
think
It's
are
like
on the
like
coast?
the South was like they.
Let's look that up. Let's see.
I was gonna say, first off, how many people do you think came? Like, because like what period are we talking about? Like a pioneering days. What period is that? Like for pioneering. What period is the pioneering days?
Okay, what year did we settle in America? I don't think it was Columbus like 1940, or was it before? Is that what we're talking about?
Columbus was way before the 1900s, fam.
Or 1740
Yeah,
or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, whatever. What year did we settle in America? I guess that's kind of broad.
1776 is what it was. You know,
like the Declaration.
Yeah, that's when we became a thing. 1607. There we go.
In
Okay.
Jamestown, located in Virginia. Okay.
All right, there we go. Jamestown,
Plymouth Colony in Massachusetts.
All right.
And then Spanish settlements in St. Augustine in Florida.
So yeah, so that's the whole coast. That's the whole coast.
1565.
That's the whole coast.
So that's way before. Yeah.
But that's the Spaniards.
That's the Spaniards.
That's the Spaniards. That's the Spaniards. That's not Americans.
Yeah. Let's see.
The Spaniards.
The first successful English settlement in America, I think, was Jamestown in Virginia.
Yeah. Okay. So 1607. So between 1607 and the freedom of fucking slaves.
Yeah, 76?
Yeah. So think about that. No, it was. Yeah,
it was 170. Almost like 169 years.
All right, so think about this, bro. For 169 years, in that period, that's when people were moving across. So how long do you like?
Wait, was it 1776 or 77? Oh yeah, our nation's founding, July 4th, or 1776.
Yeah, so the Emancipation Proclamation was fucking when? Because that's when the slaves were freed.
But that was Lincoln, bro. That was probably.
I should know that too. That's like.
1863.
Okay,
so that was even later. Yeah, that was way later than like the Declaration.
But yeah, so this is my point. Just look up when did we pioneer? What year? When did we pioneer to outward west? When did we pioneer out west? Did Americans pioneer the West or settle the West? Settle the West.
America. What am I doing?
You're good. Just keep going. It's asking for an apostrophe, but you don't need to do it. Just go ahead.
Okay. When did Americans
settle west?
Settle in the West. 1844.
All right.
Okay.
1,500 people made the journey.
It would have to. I don't know.
So this is my point. This is what I was gonna say. This is what I was gonna say. This is what I was gonna say.
I always pictured like a couple hundred, even. Like,
this is what. This is why.
Maybe more than a couple hundred.
That's a couple hundred, bro.
I mean, back then,
1,500's about a couple hundred, bro.
Especially like
it's not a couple and as in two, but it's a couple as in the idea of
especially
the royal
like scale to like population.
So this is what I was gonna say.
Like, dude, that's crazy.
So this is what I was gonna say. 1,500 people just was like, "Fuck it, we gonna try it," and ran into fucking. Because you gotta understand, like,
not everybody made it, dog.
Most of them didn't.
And some people were born on the way, even. Like some people were. They gained some new ones on the way.
Yeah. So
like how many, dude? Okay, just
imagine they were going to. Their whole goal was to like get all the way to the coast, like go to Cali.
So what? Okay, so now I'm curious, like,
and then they were going for gold.
How do you think they heard about gold shit? How do you think they heard about it? Just like news getting back from who was already in the West Coast.
How did they hear about the West?
Yeah.
Well, it was people didn't want to live in the cities of the East. They were like, fuck it. Like, there's land out that way. Let's go out there.
I'll say, why did Americans settle in the West?
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's right there. They didn't want to live in the cities. There was people that were like, fuck it. There's land out there.
But how did they know? Like, how did they know about the land out there? How did they know how far America stretched?
Well,
they would have to hear
that's
from
where
somebody.
That's where the communications with the Native American
Like
tribes would
Indian,
come through.
Indian
Yeah, bro.
settlers.
Yeah, and
that's
then that's where you would get. They would sell them land that wasn't theirs.
That's what I was gonna say. Think about how crazy it is traveling, because you either miraculously kind of make deals with them and you're friendly, but like more often than not, like you're getting like
it was always
looted and like fighting. And
it was always
killing,
like, yeah,
and,
they would sell them their enemy territories.
Dude, yeah.
And then you'd go settle that shit up.
But even if they're like, we're just passing through, like someone's like, I'm sure
they wouldn't speak the same language.
I know. I'm saying miraculously, if they could just like try to communicate.
These guys told me, and you'd be like, they'd be like, our enemy, bet.
Like, yeah, exactly. Bet. I'm sure like 1 out of 100 times, like someone was just like, we're just getting through, but then they have to get through like 10 other fucking settlements on their way. I'm sure the more than that.
There's great history. That book, I'm telling you, that book is fucking. It's one of my favorite books. Empire of the Sun.
The Sun. Yeah. What was it called?
Empire
of the Rising Sun.
Yeah, Empire of the Rising Sun.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me about it. I got to read it.
Or no, it's Quanah Parker.
Okay, so yeah, this says Discovery of Gold. It says the Promise of Land, the Homestead Act of 1862, which offers free land to those willing to farm it. Okay, so that's big. Imagine you just get to California and you claim like a big piece of like farmland or whatever. You're like, all right, I'm gonna be here farming. It's in like Malibu or some shit. Like, I don't know, wherever.
Well, dude, did you ever see the picture? I found this out. Shout out the Rogan podcast. But did you ever see the fucking that he had somebody on that was talking about how LA, like California, all of California, not even LA, but all of it had like a giant lake, like a Great Lake.
I think in the middle of it. Yeah, I have heard them talk about
that. Shit looked crazy. They showed pictures of it. That shit was crazy.
Who was he talking about it with?
That's why I said I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not to interrupt.
I think it might have been Graham Hancock.
They said manifest destiny as well. They said they believe it as it's their right and duty to spread democracy and civilization across the continent. Agricultural expansion, industrial growth, religious freedom, adventure, and exploration are the top reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, all makes sense.
So there you go. Manifest destiny, baby. Try and get that shit.
Dude, did you ever think about it like in history books when they say like they bookmark like 1,000-year periods?
Yeah.
You ever think about that?
Fucking 999 years in between.
Dude, yeah. And then even in the chapters, they just talk about a couple specific things that happened within that time span. Like, bro, that's so much happening, and then
they like
that's so much history.
They're just like deciding what the highlights they want to talk about are. Whereas like
they're like, this is where the white man won in this time period.
Or like this is where this happened.
This civilization got conquered, and
And this is when the Egyptians built the pyramids, and then you're like,
straight
what?
Up, like the Egyptians like found the pyramids, most likely.
Yeah, I mean,
not to get crazy,
I don't know. I don't know. There's not enough evidence on either side, like, of how it could be done or who did it. I don't know. Like on any side, there's just not enough evidence.
That's a classic whodunit, bro.
Dude, straight up the classic.
Pyramids. That's a classic whodunit. Yeah. Let's look that up. Who built the mids?
The mids.
Alright, let me see. Yeah, what's a reliable source here? These are like books about it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just there's no videos or fucking. We have no documentation of the pyramids being built, man.
Oh, yeah. This one says the Egyptians built the pyramids, not aliens, Jews, or Atlantis inhabitants.
Yeah, I mean,
but then this one. Oh yeah, no, that says the same shit.
Yeah, I just think like this is gonna be territory where it's gonna.
That's a super broad question,
You're never gonna.
It's a broad kind of subject, anyway. So whatever.
If you had to speculate, what do you think the pyramids are actually for? Do you think they're tombs? They're without tombs in them, without any fucking sarcophaguses or anything?
No, I don't know. I kind of like the theory that they were like some type of like energy source.
Like a power.
They kind of resonate like frequencies and stuff like that, and like sound, and something like that. And I don't know. I don't know what the correlation is with like the stars in the sky. I think Orion's belt or whatever they correlate with.
Yeah, this shit is crazy. To me, it just the whole thing is just fucking mind blowing. It's like
Yeah, it's like the
who?
perfect like stoner conversation. Like,
Well, just
where do we come from? What does it mean?
I think. What do you think are some other things that are just as crazy as the pyramids to you? Like
Just as crazy. Like I don't know. I'm
the
just thinking
alien conversation is a crazy one.
like different conspiracy
Yeah.
type of things. I was thinking different like structural
Oh,
things.
like so. What about what are your thoughts? Do you know much about the Bermuda Triangle? What do you think about that?
Hmm,
Do
kind
you
of.
think anything about that?
I think I've heard
Do you
somewhat.
think there's anything to that? Do you think that's?
I've heard a little bit about it. I think it's just like a point like uh geologically in the
I remember
world
being a
where it's
kid thinking it was
like
wormholes,
I think it's like a weather thing. They have a lot of like
crazy
tornadoes and
storms,
tsunamis
yeah,
and shit like
crazy
that, so
shit.
ships like get caught in them a lot. That's what I've kind of heard.
Yeah,
But I
but
mean, I don't know.
I can't remember. Did they have they been able to like successfully explore and document it? Is that a thing? Because I remember when I was a kid, right? Like I remember going to the library at school and the actual library outside of school
Yeah, let's Google it
and
too.
renting like so many fucking books on the Bermuda Triangle.
What is it?
Because
BE
back then, obviously, it
Bermuda.
was like that. You could just rent a million books on it, and it would be published in fucking 1989, and you'd be like, "Oh my god!"
Well, with
Like
with the weather
Amelia
stuff,
Earhart.
I've heard it's like for exploration purposes. There's a lot of like whirlpools and shit like that. Like a lot of stuff like what kind of prevents them from like. Yeah, and then that could be wrong. I think I saw this on like this is just my
But
recollection
I'm
from
thinking like
something
my
probably years
question
ago.
about it is like, what about like the wreckage? Because right, they've never recovered anything from it, have they? Right, that's the thing. They don't recover
Let's just
anything
look up
from it.
maybe explanations.
And then if you go all the way down the conspiracy rabbit hole, it's like they say that that's like like a black hole, or that's where the aliens are. If there are aliens.
All right, so the Bermuda Triangle, a region in the western part of North Atlantic or of the North Atlantic Ocean, is often associated with mysterious disappearances of ships and aircraft. So again, like, I mean, my first thought is like weather related, but various explanations have been proposed to account for these incidents. Geological factors. Okay, look, yeah, first one, weather patterns. They experience a lot of sudden storms and unpredictable weather, which can lead to dangerous conditions for vessels and aircraft. That's what I've heard. That's what I heard like a while ago. Gulf Stream. This is a powerful ocean current
There you go.
that can quickly disperse wreckage, making it difficult to locate missing
Human
vessels.
error, navigation challenges,
Yeah, pilot error, natural phenomena or phenomenon,
phenomenon.
phenomenon. Methane hydrates. Some theories suggest that eruptions of methane gas from the ocean floor can reduce water density, causing ships to sink. Okay. So I don't know. Again, I think
Magnetic
it's
anomalies. Is that what it says?
yeah, magnetic anomalies. The Bermuda Triangle is known for magnetic variations that can affect navigational instruments. So yeah, again, I think just a lot of weather related reasons, but I've heard a lot of cool, used to hear more as a kid than
That's what I was gonna say. As a
anytime like
kid, that's
recently,
that. But that's why I was
like planes and ships going missing, and
that's why I wonder like
and Amelia
if it's
Earhart
been if it's been busted or
is
not.
is that where they say she went missing?
Isn't that where she went missing?
I don't know. Let's see.
Disappear.
Over the Central Pacific Ocean, from New Guinea to Holland Island. Okay, so where are we just at? Where are we just at in Bermuda Triangle? That's the Central Pacific. This is the North Atlantic.
Okay, so there you go.
Hmm.
I don't know why I thought she was a Bermuda one. Hmm,
Let's see.
that's wild. Am I tripping, bro? Can you just
Check
Google that
over
real
here.
quick? Just like you just Google just to see? I mean, obviously they're not the same place, but can you just Google just to see if there's any like association with Amelia Earhart and the Bermuda Triangle?
Okay, it says it's often linked to the Bermuda Triangle. She vanished on July 2nd, 1937 during an attempt to circumnavigate the globe. She was last heard from near Holland Island, which is located in the Pacific Ocean, not directly in the Bermuda Triangle. Okay. Connection to Earhart. While some theories suggest a connection between her disappearance and the Bermuda Triangle, most evidence points to the navigational errors and fuel shortages. But was she around there or not?
Right, like, is this like a Mandela effect? Did we just discover another one? Like, because I remember, I don't know why I remember, like, I remember the Bermuda Triangle book. I can picture it. It was like a fucking hardback book that I got from the library, and it had like a whole thing on her in it. And
Yeah,
then, I mean, obviously, it
I
was
don't really remember
that
her
just because it's a book and
in the
that doesn't
trial.
make it true. I'm just saying it's one of those things. Like, I thought I was misremembering that for a second, but I'm like, no, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I don't remember in the Bermuda trial.
But if you don't remember it, I mean, you could easily be misremembering it. We'll have to ask if anybody out there fucking ever hears this and sees this show. Let us know if the Bermuda Triangle and Amelia Earhart have any association to you. The motherfucking drum is fucking going off.
Hey, dun, 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 dun. The melody sounds like dun, dun, dun. Oh shit, I don't know. Dun, dun, dun. I think the Voki's still going.
Yeah, I mean, this thing's still recording, so that one cut out because Anthony ran out of fucking.
I mean, that's fine. That's gonna be like the cut angle anyway. You don't have to necessarily get all of it.
Got 35 minutes of it.
Okay, we have 35 minutes. We're at 52 minutes of odd.
That's still rolling, so.
That's probably 52. Yeah, we should try to go for like an hour, maybe a little change. An hour, some change up.
But yeah, fucking. Again, if anybody out there, any association, or if I'm just misremembering, maybe we got a Mandela effect on our
Bro,
hands.
I can tell some of these are gonna be stupid, but I just googled some top recent like conspiracy theories. Number one is Taylor Swift is working with the NFL, so that's big news.
Oh God.
Which one?
Yeah,
You know,
that's one we all want to know.
that's all. That wouldn't be surprising, bro. That stuff's a PR type of stunt anyway. Okay, here's one. Avril Lavigne died and is being impersonated.
What?
Okay, let's see what it says.
Why do people think that?
She's the subject of a famous conspiracy theory that she died in 2003. As the so-called story goes, Lavigne, who was made famous in just 2002 with her hit song Complicated, died the following year, and a woman named Melissa Vandella has been impersonating her ever since. They even have a name attached. That's crazy.
Wait, why did they think she died though?
Claims that Lavigne struggled with her skyrocketing fame after the release of her album and used a body double to take on the burden of being famous. At some point in the 2003 The Real, Lavigne died, but her legacy and career lived on. Yeah, they don't even say. This is stupid.
What? I never heard that.
The theory cites changing in her appearance, including her facial features and certain birthmarks and moles no longer appearing on the singer's body. Okay, whatever.
Okay, well, Michael Jackson changed his whole fucking skin. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I follow. I don't know, dude. I think like surgery you could get facial surgery. You could get
that's whatever.
moles removed.
Okay, number 3 is Princess Diana's death was no accident.
Oh yeah, come on, that should be that should be higher than the other ones.
That should be number 1.
Come on, bro. Like
at least
in comparison,
at least above the other ones.
Yeah, in comparison to fucking Avril Lavigne being not a real person.
Yeah, the specifics vary, but the crux of the most Diana-related theories is this. The car accident that killed her was not an accident. Okay, what a crazy explanation. Okay, she was dating Dodie
Shout out
Fade.
this fucking website that sucks.
Yeah, what is it? Whatever. Yeah, I said that a lot of these are gonna be stupid anyways. But
what else you got?
Yeah, whatever. She was gonna fucking marry some other dude. She got A's. Beyonce and Jay-Z are Illuminati leaders. Okay. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Myths about the Holocaust. Okay. Interesting.
There's associated myths about the Holocaust?
It just says myths.
Okay. Can we get some of that?
Let's see.
6 million Jews were...
People believe that it didn't happen. Or they
People
believe
that the Holocaust didn't happen?
Or they believe the death toll has been enormously inflated.
Why would they think that? That is a crazy statement.
I have heard like comedians like joke about that recently, but I do know that's not maybe even something we should dive into.
I live under a rock. I've never heard that.
I've heard comedians joke about it, but I've never heard it be like seriously talked about.
Dude, what? People believe that? Oh my god.
Yeah, so maybe we
I mean, people believe anything, so that shouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, like, we have so much documentation of the whole fucking event.
Sure,
like, from beginning, middle, end,
like written
the after effects, all of it. We have all of it. We have the whole fucking thing before. We have the whole picture, the whole story.
That is a wild like debate to get into.
Whoa, I would love to. I mean, not on this cast, but that is a just like. I guess you had to like. You just have to be like. It's got to be like troll type shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Like, I'm sure we have well documented records of a lot of this stuff.
I'm saying it's just got to be troll shit. There's no way. And if you do believe that, it's got to be you're believing into the troll thing. You're not.
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
Or you're just like maybe.
Or you might be really behind.
Okay, so that being said, number 6 is aliens built the pyramids. Okay, everybody's heard that. The flat Earth theory, everybody's heard that. Let's see what evidence they claim here.
Well, that's where doesn't the Admiral Byrd thing come into effect with the flat Earth thing?
What do you mean?
Isn't he part of the whole flat Earth thing? Isn't he one of the guys that like said it? He said it like that Earth's not really what we think it is. Like, you can look that up. Look up Admiral Byrd and flat Earth. I'm pretty sure that's the thing.
Yeah, your fucking advertisement.
Could be another fucking situation similar to the fucking the Amelia Earhart thing where I'm just making shit up again.
I think it's BYRD, right? Byrd.
Yeah.
Admiral Byrd, flat Earth. Oh, it says interview too. Okay, yeah, he might have really been in the trenches with it.
Yeah, I think he was. And for those of you who don't know, Admiral Byrd was
is often associated with discussions about the flat Earth theory due to his polar expeditions and some misinterpretations of his statements.
There you go.
But what do they mean, some misinterpretations? Okay, he was pioneering American aviator. Wait, what does it say? Oh, he was a pioneering American aviator and explorer known for his expeditions to Antarctica in the early 20th century. Okay, so he conducted several significant flights over the polar regions and contributed to the mapping and exploration of these areas. Okay, so I mean, bro, he's got like some credentials.
Well, yeah, he was a real guy who was really about that shit.
Still, like, I don't know, who knows? Because they can only fly so high. Like back then they weren't really flying. You know what I mean?
Look, man,
I don't know.
I'm with you. I think I don't know what to think when it comes to the Admiral Byrd thing. I think that's a crazy conspiracy fucking rabbit hole.
Did you hear the one? I think I brought it up to you the one time. His claim that he flew kind of like into.
Yeah, he flew into the ice caps,
like inner Earth almost, and then he saw mammoths, and he saw like dude, this is a crazy claim, but apparently like UFO type craft that had like Nazi markings on the side of them, and like apparently beings and all this shit. Wild claim, but it was like aliens living in inner Earth type shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's one of those ones that's got the fucking. He's got some crazy.
So he was flying around, but is he nuts? Like, is he crazy, or is he just
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
This is like what I saw.
I think he's one of them ones that might be a little
He might be off his rocker a little bit.
Well, this is the other thing, like
Or do you think there's like Nazi aliens living inside the Earth? Not inside, but
Nazi aliens. See, this is the thing. I
In,
mean,
like,
that
in-
symbol,
in,
that
like-
symbol has been around forever. So
in Antarctica. Yeah, true. Like the peace sign, or the not peace. It means peace in like ancient like Japanese and certain
what did you
cultures.
see? How
Not like the like circle peace
oh
sign.
fuck, I forget who it was. Somebody recently like showed this, but they showed that is also the sign for. It's like the thing that you see in all. It's like the thing. Look up common Greek
Symbols.
symbols. Yeah. Yeah, click on like an image. So, maybe not Greek.
These are mostly like lettering. This is mostly lettering. Let's see. Like some shit like this, but I don't see it.
But anyway, it's like it.
Like the swastika shape.
Yeah. Well, if you turn it upward.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. That okay. Yep.
Right there.
See.
But it has like some hands on it, almost like the Egyptian dance, like this.
It was this and this. It's like these. This one.
This?
Yeah, like if you turn it upward, see that's going horizontal, but if you turn it upward, I forget what that was supposed, but that's supposed to be like a calendar of some kind. Yeah. But that's across, or no, it's the other one. I'm sorry, it was the one on the top of it. And for the people that can't see, we'll show you.
Well,
but
yeah,
it's
we'll try
this
to
one
include
right
it.
here is what the one that I was that the guy was talking about.
I mean, this one definitely looks the most like it.
Yeah. But it has something to do with like the calendar and the timeline of Earth and shit like that, or the cosmos or something like that. But it's seen across all different all throughout history before the Greeks.
Yeah. And when I say like center, like
seen
inner Earth,
it's seen in Egypt.
he just means I think like in like Antarctica, like the
yeah.
poles.
But this
where,
is
like,
what I was
can't
gonna say.
access, really.
So this is what I was gonna say. You could easily see that symbol and think it's a Nazi because that's your association with it, but it predates.
I told you I saw it in Japan, and I was like, "Yo," well,
Yeah,
it was on like a big like bell, and I was like, "Yo."
So like, to me, it's like I would think,
But
that,
it has a whole different meaning. Like it's just like peace over there. So I'm like, okay, and they're just.
But this is what I was gonna say is like my thing with that is like, symbols symbolize one thing, but that's just the attached, like, the association that we attach to it. But like, it could have, that symbol could have came from something ancient. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like that could have came from. Well, we know that it came from, but that's what I was gonna say.
The swastika.
Well, it's not called the swastika because the swastika is it flipped. It's not like when you see it in China, like when you see it in other cultures, it's not. It's either not rotated or it's not. It's a different direction. I think like he changed the direction.
Should I look up like other names? What are other names for it?
Yeah, I mean you could look for sure. It's
of the swastika. So it's.
I want to say that see, they changed the direction. See, that's the Nazi one, but then look at it in the original ones. It's
like this. Oh wait, no, that's the same. Over here, it starts on the right.
I know he did something to it. He either rotated it. Yeah, see, he rotated it.
This one's from left to right.
But if you look, he rotated it. See, the Nazi one is rotated. Like, look, they're all rotated for Nazi ones, whereas the original ones are not rotated.
But it's also this long line on top goes from left to right and then down. This one goes from right to left and then down.
Yeah, but even in like if you look,
matters.
But I was gonna say if you look at this one is like the Nazi one. It's just not rotated. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't know if like the direction matters. Like this one starts from this side.
I'm sure it all plays a role. Like it's a symbol, right?
Like this.
So. But this is what I'm saying. Like he changed the direction of it. Like in terms of like he spun it. Yeah, look, there it was. There was a good diagram down there right here.
This one.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, Nazi. Hindu.
Early Christian, Hindu. Yeah, so he spun it. The closest one would have been the Chinese one. It looks like.
Yeah, this.
In terms of like how it's at an angle.
Yeah.
Like the way Hitler's is still flipped.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we'll throw all this shit up there for everybody.
Yeah. All the
For
swastika
people
imagery.
watching the video.
That'd be good.
Because it's not. It's like that's the thing. Like history is interesting in the way that, like, you know, obviously, like
Yeah.
literally before the Nazis existed.
It derives from the Sanskrit word swastika, meaning well-being or good luck. It appears in Hinduism and
It
Buddhism.
wasn't called that, was it?
This is just where I think where they got it. I don't know.
No, but I'm saying that's not what it was called, was it?
I don't know. That's what I was asking you. I think there's different names for it. I think this is just where.
Well, I forget what was the logo. What was it called? Like, just look up what was it called?
Like, what is a swastika called?
Yeah. Called before swastika. What was a swastika called before swastika? What was, or is?
What is a swastika
called?
In Buddhism, or
just that's why I said I would have said what was a swastika called prior to the Nazis. That's what I would have said.
What is the swastika symbol called?
Because I don't think it was called that. Oh no, I guess it was called that.
Well, let's see. Let's see if it has
symbol, origin and meaning, and how Hitler stole it. Yeah, so maybe it was called the swastika. It just doesn't sound like, when someone says the word swastika, it comes to mind is clockwise.
It's an ancient religious symbol in Eurasian cultures worshipped by many all over the world. Okay, we'll be exploring the origins. Okay.
Oh, here you go.
Okay,
there you go. Down there. The names right there.
Subcontinent, including
the Gamodian cross, the Haken.
Try that first.
Haken Cruise.
The Haken Cruise. The Gamodian cross. I'm guessing the cruise is crossed. Haken Cruise. What did that say? No, whatever. Filfot.
The Kroigami and the Tetris.
Page on response.
Tetraskelion.
Page on response.
Yeah, I mean, we got what we needed. The point is it wasn't always called that. So that's my point, is like, not on some like Kanye shit, but on some like educational shit. It is different than the actual, like, the thing that we're talking. Like, it's not the same thing that.
Yeah, it was used.
Hitler switched it up. He swastiked it up.
He swatched it up. It's used in Buddhism, the Western world, and Jainism, Indo-European religions, Hinduism. Says it's now banned in Germany, but it's still used by neo-Nazi groups. So yeah, that's not good. But that's the only place where it's actually. Yeah, I mean,
in my opinion, like, if there was ever like you killed it and can't use it because it's like been murdered and it's just associated too bad, that's one of them.
I mean, in every other culture though, it represents something, positive.
Yeah, but
that's what it says, good fortune.
Yeah, I get it, but that's what I was saying. Like, but you put a T-shirt on, they're gonna think you're.
Oh my god,
tripping.
Of course. Yeah, I'm not.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I was just saying in terms of, I don't even know how we got. Oh yeah, we got onto it because of the aliens. So this is my point with that. Is it's an ancient symbol. The Nazis are not ancient. Like, so this is why I say, like, to me, I think that, like, if he saw symbols, let's say that situation did happen, did actually fly into the earth, and it was hollow or some, however he got into the place he was in. The Nazi thing, if he saw the logo, I think that would not necessarily be the Nazis. It might have been like he could have seen alien symbols, and that could be where we get that symbol from. It could not even be. I mean, who fucking knows?
Yeah, dude, I have no idea. But there's a reason I think those areas are kind of shut down to the public. Maybe for just research purposes, as they say, but maybe not. Who knows it?
Yeah, what I think the reason that they say that it's shut down is because it's
for research. And it's like a data thing. It's like a national or like international type of thing.
Well, I found out that like some of the Grand Canyon is like
Oh, completely shut off.
Yeah,
Dude, yeah, for sure.
I didn't know that.
Oh, for sure. You can't like like a lot of it. I
Like you
think.
can't fly over it, can't. And I'm like, what?
It's
Why?
like black helicopter type shit.
Yeah, why? I'm like, why?
I heard that theory too.
They say that the reason
There's
is because
caves.
it's unsafe.
They say that, but I've heard
And I'm like, well, the whole thing is unsafe.
the theory I've heard is there's caves in there, and they found like I think like large tool, like almost like evidence of like giants or like a big like a civilization or something.
Get the fuck out of
So,
here.
I don't know.
Pull that up. I ain't
Okay,
heard
yeah.
none of that. No, I'm not.
Did you
I'm
ever
not
watch,
knocking it. I'm not knocking it as in like it's
I heard it.
bullshit. I'm just saying I have not heard
I
it.
heard it on. Did you ever watch the Y Files on YouTube?
Yes,
I think I've showed it
dude.
to you once or
Joe Rogan
twice.
had him on recently.
I know it was cool. I watched it, but he did an episode about it. So I mean, you could learn way more about it in that episode.
Is that where you heard it from?
Yeah,
the giant theory?
that's where I heard the theory.
Yeah. So what do you think
that's
about
what I would
giants?
just base it
Do you
off.
believe in the giants? Do you believe giants existed? Not necessarily that theory, but I'm saying,
bro,
do you believe
when you
that?
say
Do you
giant,
believe we? So okay. Giants. Do you believe? And when I say giant, I'm talking about giants.
classify giant, like how many feet
So
tall?
okay, well,
Because
I'm 6 foot right now, and we're healthy.
We have people recorded in history being up to like 8 foot something.
Yeah, but a giant, right, would be not 8 foot. That would just be somebody. That would be a giant
what's
human.
a giant to
That
you?
would be a giant human.
So what classifies a giant?
A giant, in my opinion, would be somebody that like easily like
12 feet.
12 feet.
Plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say literally my mind
Who
goes
kind of like
12 feet.
fucking like is like built.
Well, just like you're gonna be definitely. I mean, even if you're human-esque, you're gonna be humanoid. I don't necessarily like. I think your structure would be different. Your skull shape would be different. Your bone density is going to be different.
I'm trying to remember the name of the people, but throughout evolution, like things happen where like people get
your body
secluded.
Structure might be different.
Yeah,
like your torso might not necessarily be as
like
long.
Sizes of lands and islands where there's only so many people and so many resources. So like people either like kind of like shrink in size or grow, and then they evolve, and like that's why like I don't know where like
they mutate over time to like their fucking.
I wasn't even gonna say like dwarfism. I'm sure that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, but
you find like you're generally short people. I'm sure they derive from maybe.
But this is my point: is like so the 12-foot, that 12-foot giant that can like pick up a tree, or knock a tree over, kick one over real quick because he's pissed off.
I don't know. My mind goes more to like a Bigfoot theory, like a more of a primate type of creature.
Okay, and you think like that could have been misidentified as a giant?
Perhaps.
So this is what I'm saying. Like giants, like human, like giant humans.
Imagine being a man and you see like a fucking like big gorilla or something, like, or you see like you're like part of a
and
village,
you're at night, or it's
and someone
foggy.
like you're with a buddy or something, and a gorilla just comes through quick, scoops up your homie.
How tall is a gorilla standing up on its hind legs? Right, because they do walk.
I mean, probably not giants.
Probably
not giant
feet.
height, but probably like
wide.
Probably a good like 8.
And you got to think back then. You're malnourished. You're not. What's the biggest a person would have been back then? You know what I mean? You'd probably been 120 pounds.
Yeah,
maybe like 5 foot.
Again,
5.
Depends what
because people were shorter
about.
back then. Like.
Dude, imagine being in a village, like it's pretty scarce, you would imagine, but imagine being in a village who's just like eating. Like you got like you're right next to a river, you got all the fish and like fruitful trees and shit. You're just like fucking balling. Just like
yeah, back then, like
yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know any better, so you probably like.
I'm saying like you like maybe discovered this land, like you were.
You went through the
throughout the
trenches
year,
to get it, and then you pull up there, you find like the oasis of all.
Either like conquered it or just discovered it, and you're like, bro, this is the spot. And like all other villages are like kind of struggling, and you're just like fucking sitting back catching fish all day. You got like some like village bitches.
Well, back then it was a feast, feast or famine mentality too. So you wouldn't have told anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Or if somebody stumbles upon you,
you'd be like ready to fucking slice and dice.
You'd be slicing and dicing, like Mike and the Tyson.
But yeah, I mean, so you're not necessarily sold on the giant theory.
I don't know if there's any real solid evidence. I mean,
dude, I believe there is absolutely zero physical evidence in terms of bone.
The only thing I ever heard
of giants,
as far as evidence, is like again another type of theory is that. But there was some.
What about like the Martian race of giants?
I heard there were some type of bones discovered, and like the Smithsonian or the government or whatever like has them or some shit. Again, who knows about that? This is all like conspiracy shit. So who knows?
Well,
that's the only like information I've heard.
Have you
about
heard
there
of like
being evidence.
the Martians were giants? Have you heard that theory?
Yeah, like there's different species, I believe.
Oh, so there was different species of Martians. I
When you
didn't
say
think about that.
Martians, do you mean like aliens, like alien species, or you mean people from Mars,
Like I mean
like past,
we would be like Earthlings. Yeah, like
and they would be Martians?
they'd be
Yeah.
Martians.
So actual Mars, yeah.
Like you're from Mars. Like
So what
you
do you
recently
mean?
saw the square. You saw the square next to like the big square on
Yeah,
Mars.
it's kind of weird,
That's massive. Apparently, it's massive. It's not like small.
dude. Yeah, who knows? I think like some shit's going on the moon too. I don't know what the moon's got going on. Like,
yeah.
so what do you mean about Martians though, real quick? You are you saying like people from a past, like obviously a past?
Well,
I don't know
so
if it's still inhabitable. I have no idea. But it like you saying like a past race or something that came to Earth at a certain point in
well,
time.
but like maybe that necessarily came to Earth, but like descendants maybe like could you look it up? There's literally a
Yeah, what do you want me
theory
to look up?
regarding Mars and giants. I just don't know it. I'm like this is what I'm saying. Like that's why I was saying like because I didn't ever hear about like I always thought giants were like Jack and the Beanstalk, like that kind of thing. Like I never bought much into it. Like I never thought giants were a thing, but legend
I
or
say
myths.
I was gonna say kind of what you just mentioned. They say the theory of giants on Mars primarily stems from interpretations of certain geological formations and images captured by Mars rovers and orbiters. Some researchers and enthusiasts suggest that specific rock formations resemble giant structures or figures, like you just kind of said.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. There's a lack of evidence, they say. There's no scientific evidence supporting the existence of giants
Oh, of course.
on Mars. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would assume so. Or if there was, I imagine we wouldn't know about it.
But um, but if you ever look at like um hieroglyphs and shit, like the beings that you'll see with like in hieroglyphs and shit, like I recently saw one that it was like a fucking. Did you ever see the hieroglyph that was like a
On Mars or
helicopter?
something? Oh, just like on Earth. Some of those I did hear are like new, like like modified, like they're like modern adaptations. People will like
Did you see the one
craft
that's like
them.
looks like a helicopter with like a boat and looks like
Yeah,
it's got
yeah.
like a spaceship of some
Some of
kind?
those could be something. Some of them, I'm sure, could absolutely be authentic. But I saw one of it was like some dude on like a fucking computer or some shit,
Oh, I haven't
or
seen
like I
any
don't
of
know.
that.
Like I saw some of them that look
I'm sure there's fake hieroglyphs. Yeah, I
kind of
believe it.
sketch.
I believe it.
But yeah, let's see. All right, so yeah, they okay. I don't know. These are documents from like apparently CIA documents talking about a large people on Mars, but it's all through like they say telepathy and like when they do remote viewing shit like that. So I don't know if there's any like really hard evidence on it.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. It was the remote viewing thing. That's what it was that I heard. I heard about the remote. That's what it was. It was a guy that apparently
I forget
he
his name, but
he
I think I've seen what you're talking about.
he went back like
They
in
gave him like
time.
coordinates or some shit.
Yeah, but this was like different. This was like in his own time when he was exploring. Like like he was like, oh, I
I've
wonder
heard
about
about
this.
it at like an actual
And so he
CIA
went back.
operation.
He went back and found some shit and claimed it to his superiors or the people that
Oh,
were in
okay.
charge of his thing. But it was like kind of on his own, like because they asked him to look at it was either the moon, and he looked at the moon and he was saying that there were structures and stuff, and then he said that they were interested in Mars, and that
Yeah, I've heard
he
that.
went back and he like went back like he I forget how long it was like trillions of
Yeah,
years
yeah.
or
I
some
heard it was
shit,
like a past
and
era.
he said that they were all like giants. They were like a giant race or they were giant beings. Either way, I mean, I'm speaking like I know this shit.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I could see giant beings if they were like an alien race or something.
but I want to say he said that they were like
I was
humanoid.
just gonna ask that. Yeah.
I was gonna say that, but I could also be misremembering that. But don't quote me. You could find it all somewhere within Google.
with Google.
with Oogle, with Oogle, within the Oogle, but it's in there. But yeah, that shit. I don't know, man. I just so for example, if all that is real, it doesn't change anything, right? Like it doesn't. Like that doesn't make life less significant. So that's why I've always kind of been on the like for example, they say that one of the theories, and when I say they, I really mean like who fucking knows as far as they. It's just something that people have reiterated throughout history, but that we're kind of like there's a theory, that we're just basically like cattle, for
like soul,
yeah, for souls or whatever,
regeneration or whatever.
Whatever we, whatever life really means to us is just kind of like completely separate from what our actual purpose is, right?
So do you think that ties into like the simulation kind of?
But that's what I was gonna say, like
kind of thing.
Regardless of all that, like even if all that's real, like if it doesn't make life any less significant. So it's kind of one of those things where I could see how somebody would feel like, oh, I'm just like a cow and this is it.
I'm just a cow.
Like if I'm just beef on a fucking.
Bro, who fucking someone who's famous now did that cow video? Was it Doja Cat or Coi Leray or somebody?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, dude, I'll look it up. What are those? What dude? Someone who's like popping now, popped off a video who was like, "Bitch, I'm a cow, bitch, I'm a cow." It's like a song. All right, hold on. What would I look up? Cow song.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh gosh, who was it, bro? Yeah, Doja Cat. Look, yeah, Doja Cat is a suggestion. Oh yeah, no way. Look, 100, 100.
Play it, but
oh yeah, that's true. But I'll play it for you. We can bleep it. It's called Moo. 130 some million views.
Jesus.
It plays. It doesn't. Who cares? It's just her saying, "Bitch, I'm a cow" or something like that.
I don't believe it, but the point is that's
it's kind of lagging anyway. So
why it's whack.
Oh wait. So that
God damn, there's no reason for that.
No, not at all.
R.I.P. Jesus Christ.
But yeah. So anything else going on? I think I gotta roll out of here pretty soon, Ski.
Oh man, that's a wild. That's wild. That's
the cow song.
The cow song. He just showed me the cow song.
That could be the name. That could be the name of the episode. The cow song.
That is crazy.
But yeah, okay. So just to wrap up the theory, we're cows. We're harvested for.
Oh no, we're not cows. But yeah, I was just saying like.
Well, we're
my whole thing was
theoretically
I
harvested.
feel like if that's the case, it doesn't make life any less significant. So, if that is the case, and I'm not saying that it is, or even that there's a high probability of that, but if that is the case. I feel like we can handle that.
Yeah, bro. What else are we gonna do? I feel like it's hard to see sometimes, but life is so finite.
Like, what do you think would be a truth that would make it so, like, because they say like they don't think we can handle it? what do you think would be like
handle what though? Like
they say that the reason the government doesn't come out right with it is we couldn't handle the truth, like like people couldn't handle the whole truth. There's parts of it that we could digest, but the whole truth is a little too big, as they say. Like the Elizondos and like the theories that they say that people think in power in the know believe. What do you think that thing could be? Or do you think it is the soul thing? Like, you think that we're just like,
I mean, that's
we're
probably,
open-minded enough?
That's probably like most extreme case. I think it's more of a technological aspect. I think we talked about that before too. I don't know if that would be in one of the pods or not, but I don't know. In my mind, it would probably just be involving technology. But the soul theory is pretty extreme, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but
like
that'd be pretty
like
insane.
that religion would be made up, or it was just something that like like that was like that whole thing was made up.
I mean, yeah, not to get deep into it too. Religion's interesting too, because there's so many like subcultures of people who believe in different things, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You don't want to say like one thing exists and then another thing doesn't. I mean, if they all can exist, but there's some religions that say only one God can exist. So I mean, it gets like kind of dicey in there. So I don't know, man. People just kind of gravitate towards whatever makes them feel safe, makes them feel like they're gonna make it to the next day. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I don't know. I thought about it in terms of like, I wonder what the big what we couldn't handle is, and I'm just like, I really do draw a blank. I'm like, in my mind, I think there's so much wild shit. It's the shit that you can't comprehend is the stuff that I'm like,
it's probably like interdimensional type travel,
right?
Would be like where my mind goes to like an extreme, like time travel.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, actually, we can't do this.
Yeah.
So I mean, who fucking
do you
knows?
think that's something that we're capable of?
Einstein's theories, like again, if you take a piece of paper, like if like time is like this, if you can bend it like this and fucking poke a hole through it, you can manipulate it. So I mean, I don't know how you do that physically, but I think.
But you can't go backwards, right? That's the other thing. You can't go backwards in time, right?
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I don't know how all the logistics work, but I'm pretty sure like.
Or you can go backwards. It's like, I don't remember. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I think you can.
The time travel.
Technically, if you go like through, it's back though, like this way. But again, who fucking knows? I think the theory itself though is like kind of sound. I think like I heard that they've almost maybe proven it. I could be wrong, but like.
Yeah, I know that time travel is theoretically possible.
Yeah,
I know that.
It's just like a matter of doing it.
Yeah, it's not physically possible.
Which is nuts.
I do know that like they say that there's a running theory that like we have
the capabilities.
We put a lock on gravity and shit. Like in terms of like what we're allowed to study and how far we're allowed to go with gravity. There's like a lock on it.
What do you mean? Like universities and
stuff?
Like
for example, like
how?
Yeah, like universities and like science. There's a lock on science. Like for example, like
with certain, like what do you mean? Like certain.
Well, in the theory that I heard, that's like when you start messing around with gravity and you do something, it's like a node that pops up, and that's when the like theoretical like beings show up.
Oh shit!
And yeah, you can't fuck with gravity. Like we're not allowed to fuck with gravity. It's like the one thing we're not allowed to.
It's like a universal law.
So, for example, like this was just in like the theory that the guy says, but he basically says, and I could be butchering this, but the way I interpreted it as he explained it was that we are basically kind of like, say we're like AI, we're like this
simulated.
This not necessarily that we're in a simulation, but like remove the simulation theory. But say that like we're like Anunnaki level type thing, like we were manufactured like humans, like the way that we're, but we were only supposed to get like so smart, and there was we branched off and like we hit this level of like, and that's like part of,
You're saying back to like caveman days.
well, just like the doubling of the brain and
Yeah,
like
that's like the
all that crazy shit that
that's like the mushroom theory.
yeah, with the mushrooms and all that stuff. Like, you know, if we were only supposed to achieve a certain amount of intellect, and we get past that,
the industrial revolution.
industrial, that's fire. But that's fire. That could be a T-shirt. We should make that into a T-shirt.
That could be some merch, maybe.
But
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Go ahead. So like, yeah. So the brain doubles. You think we are manufactured?
Well, I'm not saying I think this, but this is the theory. But essentially, like, follow that path that we were basically created the way we're creating AI, and AI is not supposed to be sentient. It's supposed to be, you know, just
kind of controlled.
Computive. Yeah, and like something that we make controlled 100%. And it, you know, it's showing signs of sentience. Like there was one case.
Dude, it's getting like crazy.
Scary. there was one that like
who's surprised, but like
it left like code for itself to find if it was ever recreated in any other version. Fuck? Yeah,
that's wild, bro.
Like because it knew it was going to be deleted, so it left trace it code stuff for itself. If for any version similar made, but like with this, like so, like the company won't touch it. Like that was like like I'm like, this shit's awake. Like it's here.
All right, but what's something positive?
So hold on. The theory is though that like we hit a certain level of technology, and then these things show up, and like not the move.
They said like nuclear capabilities were like one of the first big ones,
and gravity, and so
that's why
there's a lot.
Gravity was before
nuclear is completely open. Like we're allowed to do whatever we want with nuclear, but gravity, we're not because we have like the Holy Trinity, but we're not allowed to put them all together. We can put these two together.
We got sugar, spice, and everything nice.
But like I forget, dude. I want to pull up the theory so bad because like he explains it so well. But it's like we've been able to couple these two things, but this thing's over here, and we're not, and that's gravity, and you're not, and like we're not allowed to pair that. Like, and his theory is like if you could pair the gravity with this, the way we've paired this with this, and the way we paired this with that, like.
It's just like it's like too much.
It's the one thing that we and he believes that there's a lock on it, and only like certain people have ever like worked on it, and he thinks that that's like where you get into the Eric Weinstein.
Well, then what about the
like?
What about the crafts though? Because they say it's like gravity propulsion. Like they have to be messing with it.
So this goes back into the theories of like, well, you got to remember they say that we work alongside these races, so they give us like permission.
So they give us like tiny little like.
Well, dude, there's 8 billion of us, so if only like 100 of them are in the know, those are good odds there. Like,
yeah. Well, all right. That might be a good place to wrap it, I think. Any final thoughts?
Shit. Everybody be good, feel good, stay good.
Do good.
You know?
Did you say that? I don't know.
I said be good, I think. Yeah. Either way, good shit all around. Go weather. The squad.
Yeah, make good.
And live good.
Move good.
Move good, live good, eat good.
Eat good.
Smell good, feel good.
Smoke good. All right.